umbrella and shoulder bag. Dylan Winter. Steady now. We couldn't resist it. This is the gear, then, isn't it?
This is it.
That's
This is it.
the camera on there.
You can hardly see it. But I didn't have this cable running behind me as I went along the underground, actually. And this is the umbrella.
You just pointed at people.
Threateningly.
Is it? I want to have another look in there. Oh, hang on. Oh, it's good. Oh, put me down. Call yourself a secret agent? Good Lord. Now, am I right?
Can I put this down now?
You can put it down,
Thank you very much.
Please do. I told you it is. It's dangerous.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
You're a sort of a cross between, God help you, Beadle and a sort of a Roger Cook, then. Is that right, do you think?
What a nice thing to say. Couldn't you choose 2 other role models for me?
Well, a sort of an exposer. Oh, no, that's the wrong one.
That's the wrong one as well. Basically, they wanted somebody who was completely unknown. And I work on Radio 4, which makes me completely unknown.
But your job was to go and expose, you know, bad service, really.
It was just really, it wasn't to expose bad service, it was just to look at why we in Britain can't say have a nice day without gagging on the phrase.
Yeah.
And in a sort of way, I'm rather proud of that, the fact that we find it uncomfortable. But we're supposed to be moving towards a service economy, you know, the great British service economy. Now we've thrown in the towel as far as industrial production is concerned. We're moving to this service economy, and we're dreadful at it. Absolutely dreadful.
So how did you decide which companies to target?
We asked them. Cunning, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. All these companies, they all use what they call mystery customers, who are people who go round pretending to be ordinary customers. Ansell's pubs use people who go in and just go on a paid pub crawl, and they have to check out to see...
Where can I get that job, then?
It's not quite as good as it sounds, actually, because you're only allowed to drink sort of half a pint at a time. And you have to go in about 6 or 7 pubs, and you have to get from one to the other. Yeah. And some of the pubs are, well, some of them are marvellous, of course.
Yes, of course,
but some of them are slightly less than marvellous, not the sort of pubs you'd really possibly choose to go for.
You're digging an awfully big hole.
You're right. But the other thing you have to do is also you have to check out the loos. You have to go and see how clean the loos are. So I had to sort of wander around these toilets, these pub toilets, with this monster on my arm and talking to the microphone in the pub, in the mirror in the pub.
You're lucky you weren't arrested.
Well, I did get some really strange looks, of course, because I'd only do it when I was by myself, and so somebody had burst in through the pub door to see this bizarre-looking person talking to an umbrella.
So tell us the companies that wouldn't let you go.
Well, Asda wouldn't let us come in, and the post office wouldn't let us come in. We did ask British Airways, and they said no. And then when Virgin Atlantic said yes, British Airways said, oh, actually...
oh, isn't that interesting?
Please, yes.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, and I think it's really brave of the companies to let us do it. Yeah. Because, you know, they didn't know when we were going to do it. All they knew was that over a 6-month period, at some point in their whole operation, we were going to come in with the cameras and just to see how they behaved and how they got on. Well,
let's have a look at one of the companies who did let you go in with a hidden camera. And this is where you went underground for British Rail.
How do I go about buying monthly or annual season tickets? Well, tell me for both. So tell me for both. I mean, what's the difference between them?
For a start, a lot of money difference between a month and an annual.
Well, I realise that because one's for 12 months.
Which one do you want? The monthly?
Right. Well, can you give me for both?
Right, that's annual.
Right, and what do I do? Okay, and how much does it cost? We'll get there in the end. Oh, thank you. What's this?
That's a piece of paper.
Right, and what's in there?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I mean, you know, it's funny, but it's pitiful, isn't it, really?
It is a bit. It is a bit pitiful, I suppose. But in a way, we did go and look at the London Underground Charm School, where they teach...
Is there one?
Well, it actually turned out to be a redundant toilet. at the basement of King's Cross Station.
And a dirty one at that.
No, it was rather clean, but, you know, well, there were all these shower stalls and foot washing things all around, and it was just so hot in there, you know, it's hard to think how they could take things seriously. But actually, you know, London Underground is really stuffed for cash, and they have two priorities. The first priority is safety, and the second priority is frequency of service. And you've got to admit the tubes do come along quite often. And so those are their main priorities, and it's hard for them to find the money for doing that. So you can, no matter how much you teach people to be nice, they have to have the facilities to follow through.
What shocked you most, having done the whole series? What shocked you? Because you're not a Mr. Angry. I'm a Mrs. Angry when I go shopping. You're not, are you?
No, I think what brought it home to me, the trouble is it's us British who are at fault. We only get the customer service that we deserve. If you sit in Burger King, as I did for quite a long time, watching people come in, we're all morose, no, I'll have a double whopper, please, and really just sort of downbeat. Whereas if you see, and so we don't ask for good feedback from the people on the other side of the counter. Whereas if you see an American go into a hamburger bar and say, "Hi, how are you? Good to see you today." You know, and it cuts. I think we British tend to look down on those on the other side of the counter.
Yeah, but we've all had those people in shops who look at us. I'm sure you have. You walk into the shop, they're 10 feet away from you, and they go, and you think, "I'm sorry, is a dog coming or what?" Now, are you saying if I went in and went, "Hello," they'd come bounding up to me?
I think if everybody went in and was nicer to them. I mean, you only have to look. What's our second national song after national anthem?
Rule Britannia.
What are the words?
Rule Britannia. Britain's never, never shall be slaves.
Exactly. Britain's never, never shall be slaves. We look down on people who serve us. And I think, you know, one of the interesting things in the first programme, the one example of really good customer service was from an Italian girl.
Yeah.
And somehow, you know, we're almost ashamed if our son or daughter becomes a waiter. You know, it's okay for a step, but it's not really a career. And so it's because of us. And the companies all said to me, you know, what we really hate are people who don't complain and who just never come back because we don't know what we did wrong. And I'm one of those people, Dylan? I'm afraid. After I've done the service, it's one of these things, I just sneak away quietly.
Well, Dylan, have a nice day. Dylan Winter, thank you. I mean it, yes. Now, apparently, and I don't like to gossip, but when they told Ross King that they wanted him to go and film a class act, he prepared 25 minutes of stand-up gags and songs. Well, of course, we all knew that they meant the new drama series starring Joanna Lumley.